The Right to Repair movement is a campaign that advocates for consumers' ability to fix and modify their own products, such as electronic devices, farm equipment, and cars. The movement challenges the barriers that manufacturers impose to prevent or discourage repairs by anyone other than authorized dealers or service providers. These barriers can include withholding repair information, parts, tools, and software, or using digital locks and proprietary designs that make repairs difficult or impossible. The Right to Repair movement is important for car owners and independent mechanics because it affects their choice, convenience, cost, and environmental impact of maintaining their vehicles. Car owners should have the freedom to choose where and how they want to service their cars, whether it is at a dealer, a local shop, or by themselves. They should also have access to the same information and technology that dealers have, so they can diagnose and fix problems without being dependent on the manufacturer. Independent mechanics should be able to compete fairly with dealers and offer quality service to their customers without being restricted by the lack of information or tools. The Right to Repair movement also benefits the environment by reducing waste and emissions. When cars are repaired instead of replaced, they last longer and use fewer resources. Repairing also saves energy in materials that would otherwise be used to produce new cars or parts. Additionally, repairing reduces the amount of electronic waste that ends up in landfills or incinerators, where it can release toxic substances and greenhouse gases. The Right to Repair movement has been gaining momentum in recent years, as more consumers, activists, lawmakers, and organizations have joined the cause. Several countries and states have passed or proposed legislation that would require manufacturers to provide repair information, parts, and tools to consumers and independent repairers. For example, in 2023, Colorado became the first state in the U.S. to pass a right to repair law for farm equipment. In 2022, Massachusetts voters approved a ballot measure that expanded the existing right to repair law for cars to include access to wireless data. In 2021, the European Union adopted new rules that would make certain appliances easier to repair and more energy efficient. The Right to Repair movement is not only about fixing cars, but also about empowering consumers, supporting local businesses, and protecting the planet. It is a movement that challenges the status quo of planned obsolescence and corporate control, and promotes a culture of repair and reuse. The automotive industry is trying to limit the access to repair information, tools, and parts for consumers and third-party repair shops in several ways. Some of these ways are restricting the availability of diagnostic and repair data to authorized dealers and workshops only. This means that independent operators cannot access the information they need to fix or maintain vehicles, unless they pay high fees or sign restrictive contracts with the manufacturers. Using wireless technology to transmit vehicle data directly to the manufacturers, bypassing the onboard diagnostic (OBD) port that has traditionally been used by owners and technicians to access vehicle data. This gives the manufacturers exclusive control over the data and who can access it, limiting consumer choice and competition in the repair market. Opposing legislation that would require them to provide equal access to vehicle data and repair tools to consumers and independent repair shops. For example, the automotive industry has filed a lawsuit against a new law in Massachusetts that would expand the right to repair for vehicle owners and independent operators. Mandating particular brands, tools, and equipment for repairing and maintaining vehicles, making it harder for consumers and independent operators to use alternative or cheaper options. Not complying with existing regulations that require them to provide standardized and non-discriminatory access to repair and maintenance information. For example, in the European Union, manufacturers have been accused of violating the rules on access to vehicle repair and maintenance information by providing incomplete, inaccurate, or delayed information. These practices by the automotive industry have negative consequences for consumers, independent repair shops, and the environment. They can result in increased cost of repair and maintenance for consumers, as they have fewer options and have to rely on expensive authorized dealers or workshops. Reduced consumer choice and convenience, as they cannot choose who repairs their vehicles or where they take them for service. Loss of innovation and competition in the repair market, as independent operators are unable to offer new or better services or products due to lack of access to vehicle data and tools. Impact on consumer safety and security, as vehicle data is not standardized or protected from unauthorized access or misuse by manufacturers or third parties. Lack of privacy for consumers, as they are unaware of what data is collected from their vehicles, how it is used and with whom it is shared by manufacturers. Harm to the environment, as more vehicles are scrapped or replaced due to lack of repairability or durability. Therefore, it is important that consumers and independent repair shops have equal access to vehicle data and repair tools as car companies and licensed dealerships. This would ensure a fair and competitive repair market that benefits consumers, independent operators, and the environment. The right to repair movement is not only about fixing your own devices, but also about having the freedom and choice to take them to independent repair shops or technicians. This is especially important for the automotive industry, where vehicles are becoming more complex and connected, and where manufacturers are trying to limit access to the information and tools needed to service them. One of the most successful campaigns for the right to repair movement was the Massachusetts Right to Repair Initiative, which was passed by voters in 2012. This initiative required car manufacturers to provide owners and independent repair facilities with access to the same diagnostic and repair information that they provide to their authorized dealerships. This gave consumers more options and reduced costs for car repairs. In 2020, Massachusetts voters passed another ballot measure that updated the original law to include access to wireless data that is increasingly used by modern vehicles. This measure also required car manufacturers to install a standardized open data platform in their vehicles by 2023, which would allow owners and independent repairers to access telematic data through a mobile app. The Massachusetts laws have inspired similar legislation in other states, such as California, New York, New Jersey, and Vermont. These bills aim to protect consumers' right to repair their vehicles and support the aftermarket industry, which employs hundreds of thousands of workers and generates billions of dollars in revenue. Another example of a successful initiative that has advocated for the right to repair legislation and increased consumer choice is the Repair Association. This is a coalition of over 300 businesses, organizations, and individuals that support the right to repair movement across various industries, including automotive, agriculture, medical, and electronics. The Repair Association works to educate policymakers and the public about the benefits of repair, such as saving money, reducing waste, creating jobs, and fostering innovation. The Repair Association also supports federal bills such as the Fair Repair Act and the Critical Medical Infrastructure Right to Repair Act, which would require manufacturers to provide owners and independent repairers with access to service information, parts, tools, and software for their products. These bills would also prevent manufacturers from using digital locks or proprietary software to restrict repairs. The right to repair movement is gaining momentum around the world, as more people realize the importance of having control over their own devices and vehicles. By supporting the right to repair legislation and initiatives, we can ensure that consumers have more choices, lower costs, and better quality of service for their automotive needs.